This is Grayman Media content.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Devin.
We founded a media company to help promote local artists and goof off with our friends.
It's not always easy running all these shows, but we decided to add another to our list.
This is The Other Show.
What?
Cheesecake.
What about it?
What do you like about it?
Everything.
Everything. Is there a type of cheesecake or style you don't like?
The only bad cheesecake I've ever had was when me and you tried to do the Japanese version of cheesecake, the Japanese jiggly cheesecake. We tried to home make it.
It's a quiche is basically what it was.
Well, we f***ed it up for sure. I have no doubts in my mind about that. But yeah, we didn't. It did not turn out right at all, by any means.
Yeah, I don't know what it turned into. I felt like we followed the recipe, whatever it was, but it was like 12 eggs and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it basically turned into a big quiche. That's what it tasted like. It was like a cakey egg thing. That was weird.
It did. It turned. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any other way to. It wasn't like as eggy as quiche, but it was so eggy for what a cheesecake is supposed to be. So I don't know what other word to use, but quiche. You're right.
It might as well have been a quiche.
It might as well have been. I mean, honest to God, it was so weird, and it sucked because that was like my 20th birthday cake.
I think something like that. Yeah. We wanted to make cheesecake, and you found that recipe, and we're like, "Oh, we're going to try this Japanese one." It was not. It was not cheesecake.
It's not good.
No.
Only cheesecake that I've had that I was like, that sucked. There's the cheesecake that Buca de Pepa makes is really good.
Yeah, theirs is really good.
I love that cheesecake, and I'm not like the biggest Buca de Pepa fan by any means, but hey, the cheesecake's good. And they almost certainly get it pre-prepared. I'm sure they don't make it in-house, so whoever the vendor is for that is great. That's also not like my favorite cheesecake. I just thought of it because it's massive.
Yeah, the slices they give you there are crazy.
Yeah,
they're
just like everything else at Buca de Pepa.
They're basically as big as the ones you get at like Cheesecake Factory. They're like basically getting half the pie.
Well, Cheesecake Factory ones are smaller, but yes, they are also just as ridiculous.
Yeah, they do weird stuff with theirs though.
I don't think. When do you think? Have you always been a cheesecake fan, or because I remember specifically becoming a cheesecake fan. I mean, I'm sure I always liked it, but I remember specifically having like a passion towards it the first year that we had pumpkin cheesecake for Thanksgiving, because my mom doesn't like pumpkin pie, but I love pumpkin pie, and I would always request pumpkin pie. So she
compromised.
Thank you. That is the exact word I was looking for. And she made a pumpkin cheesecake, and I remember thinking, this is
fantastic.
Amazing.
Thinking back on it, I feel like I've always been a massive fan of it. The thing is, growing up a lot, my mom likes cheesecake, but she's never a fan. Hello.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You're on 2. I'm on 2. You're on 3. Please continue. Oh, I'm sorry. I also realize that not everybody is watching this, so they don't know what just happened. They might be listening. I turned down the volume on Jessica's microphone. I apologize. Please continue.
Growing up, my mom enjoyed it, but she wasn't a massive fan. My dad absolutely loved cherry cheesecake. As a kid, even now a little bit, but not nearly as much. As a kid, I hated cherries.
Yeah, you don't.
So
really
anytime
like
I had cheesecake growing up, it was usually my dad would he'd get like the Sara Lee ones.
Sure, yeah.
That had all that stuff, and I would just like scrape the top part off and then eat the rest of the cheesecake. I'd scrape it all off. Now as an adult, I'm like, give me all of it. It's all great.
Yeah, it's all good.
But as a kid, I couldn't stand it, so I'd always wipe it off. But I always loved it. Like, it was always like a treat whenever you get to have it.
Yeah, for sure. Cheesecake's really good. I just love cheesecake.
What's your favorite style? Mine is a classic. Something about just a classic piece of like New York style cheesecake is just so good.
I mean, yeah, but like, you always go
quite like it.
You always go to the classic, always. But I like to jazz it up every now and then. I like the Reese's ones that they have at the Cheesecake Factory.
Really good.
Like I said, I like pumpkin cheesecake. I like regular cheesecake with a little bit of like like the same thing like cherries, but like maybe blueberries or something like that.
Never had blueberry cheesecake. That's probably really good.
I don't even know if I've had it, but it definitely would work.
I like I've had I think it was from the Cheesecake Factory, a raspberry cheesecake.
I was literally just about to say about raspberries. Fantastic. Great too.
It was so good.
It's got to be.
It was like little swirls of raspberry, and it was perfect. It wasn't overpowering, which is like I love strawberry cheesecake, but sometimes the strawberries can overpower depending on how much compote they put on top. But something about a raspberry, usually when they do it, they like swirl it in there so it's not overpowering. It's so good.
So the reason we're talking about this is because for weeks now, everyone at my restaurant has specifically been wanting. Adrian came up with this idea of a cinnamon toast crunch cheesecake, and we're like, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, Jessica now has to make this thing that we've Frankensteined.
They Frankenstein this idea, and I had to come up with how to do it. Mine did. Other than the one quiche cheesecake we've made before, this is the first cheesecake I've ever made.
I think it turned out really well for your first cheesecake. I think it tasted like cheesecake. I think that I know you're upset with it. I don't know why, but
it wasn't what I was hoping for. That's another reason I told everyone keep your bar low, which I did. Like it does taste okay, but it's not what I know I can do.
Yeah, no.
And that's what obsessed me. I was like, I know I can do better than this.
Yeah, I know. I don't feel bad in agreeing with you.
Need to be fluffier and less dense.
I don't feel bad in agreeing with you. I think it was an amazing first attempt, as most things that you make are. But I also know how you tend to get when you cook things, and it's like you've made chili 100 times, and you're still changing it every single time, and like most of the time it gets better and better every single time. Same thing when you've made feijoada in the past. It's like you're always changing it up. So, yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad in agreeing with you. I think it was a great first attempt. Tasted great. I enjoyed it. Sorry.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It's just not what I was hoping for. Also, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch did not...
Yeah, that's my one thing.
I used Cinnamon Toast Crunch for the graham cracker crumbs for the crust.
Rip.
And then I made, like, cheesecake filling for the middle. And then on the top part, I took a little portion of the cheesecake filling, and I, like, really ground in some more Cinnamon Toast Crunch and cinnamon. I think I need more vanilla in that part. But that's what I did. I made basically Cinnamon Toast Crunch cheesecake and then Cinnamon Toast Crunch infused cheesecake and put that on top. Is what I did on my first attempt on figuring out how I was going to Frankenstein this.
Well, you know how they make the, like what you were saying with the raspberry, with how they swirl it within the mixture. I think that's the way to go.
Oh, I agree. I think my issue is because I tried to do that. I made the filling too thick. If it was thinner, it would have swirled in because I tried to do it and it was way too thick. It was not happening. Yeah. Which was already my first sign that I didn't put something in there correctly or something didn't like get thawed enough. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't as thin, I think, as it should have been.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's I'm excited to try it. But yeah, I mean, just cheesecake, dude. We've talked about it pretty much at nausea at this point on Thoughts, and it's just cheesecake. There was an argument. There was a huge TikTok.
There was a professional that had to come in and settle debates.
Yeah, honestly, it was a first for the show in many ways. But yeah, and cheesecake, man.
Cheesecake's fantastic. It's nothing beats it.
Super fire flame. I don't really think that it needs to go beyond that. I mean, there's other pies that are great. I love pies in general. I'm not a big cake guy. Ice cream's okay. What other desserts? I like me a good brownie.
Brownies are solid. If you get a good one.
Cookies are like okay, I guess.
If there's nothing else, a cookie will satisfy. As long as it's cooked right.
A cookie's okay. There's nothing wrong with a cookie. There's nothing wrong with like cake, but I don't know. Cake's always so dry to me, and I just don't like cake. And maybe that's because I've had bad cake. Because I've had really good cake, had great cake. But most of the time that I've ever had cake, it's not. It's subpar at best. It is. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. F you, cake. Sorry. God.
I'm
still very much in thoughts from the mothership mode. I'm just cussing
Sorry.
right out.
Cheesecake, though. It's not a cake, though. It's a tart. Whatever, but it is fantastic.
I just couldn't care less about that debate anymore.
I did a good job for a first attempt on it. I do agree, but I can do better. I'm going to try to remake it tomorrow, see if I do better. If so, that's the picture you'll be seeing, not the one that we made today, which didn't look... That was another issue with this one. It looked weird. It looked like there was cheese melted on top because it just didn't brown like right at all. I don't know. It was weird.
Crust tasted good. It didn't taste like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it tasted good.
Yeah, it lost Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor in that. I don't know what happened.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that said that.
I put sugar, salt, butter, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the normal things for a graham cracker crust. And the cinnamon got evaporated out of there.
I have no idea what the fix is. I'm sure you'll figure it out, but I don't even know where to begin. To be honest with you, I don't think I can make a cheesecake. I'd have to follow a recipe every step of the way, like I always do when I follow a recipe, because that's what I do.
I don't do that.
I know.
I don't do that.
I know you don't.
With this one, I followed it for the most part. The recipe I was following was going for 2, so I had to like split some of this down the middle. For the most part, I did follow it, but again, it didn't quite. Also, a lot of recipes for cheesecake for some reason use stand mixers, and I just don't have one of those, so I had to hand do some of this.
We do have a stand mixer.
Not the ones that they need for that. They need a heavy duty one.
I was going to say, I know for a fact we have a stand mixer. I've seen it.
I've seen it. It's here. It's somewhere. We don't know where.
I'm almost positive it's above the boys' closet. I'm 99% sure about that, but
you're probably right.
I'm almost positive. I had to put something up there recently. Oh yeah, it was a mic arm. Oh, I have microphones in my trunk. I need to get those. Cheesecake's good. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff, man.
That'll end off segment 1 right there.
All right, so the first time I saw A Quiet Place, it was actually on the airplane. It was the movie that I watched. Well, actually, okay, so what actually ended up happening? Hold on, let's back it up a minute. So the first time I ever flew in my entire life was for the company that I work for, my daytime job, not this one. We were flying to Las Vegas, but in order to get to Las Vegas, we had to fly from Louisville to Atlanta to Vegas. I don't know why. This is just the way the world works. I don't remember which flight we were on, but one of the flights into Las Vegas, Brett, sorry to name drop, I apologize, but this is the way it's going. Brett, who at the time was my colleague, now not so much, never really my colleague ever, but on paper she was my colleague, but also a friend and a mentor. Flying into Vegas. She was watching A Quiet Place. I think I have this story correct. I'm almost positive I do. I think this is how it went. This is my headcanon, so it doesn't matter. This is the story you guys are going to
Either way, Devin saw this movie on a plane.
Shut up. I'm telling a story. It's supposed to sound insane. I'm flying into Vegas. Brett's watching A Quiet Place. I'm like, interesting. I'm not a big horror guy. I like a horror movie. Not a big horror movie guy. I didn't really know much about it. It looked neat, and I knew John Krasinski was in it, who I loved from The Office. Don't know anything else about him, but I enjoyed the hell out of him in The Office. I don't know if we're cutting that or not. So on the way back, when I was not having a panic attack from flying, because I had been through this process before, I decided to watch A Quiet Place. And I don't know if I ever watched all of it. Anyway, besides the point. Because of that, me and you watched A Quiet Place. I wanted to show you A Quiet Place.
But then, like that week you came home, you're like, hey, I saw this on the plane. I don't think you had seen all of it. I think you'd seen most of the beginning, but not the end. So you're like, hey, we're going to watch it together and all that stuff. I was a little apprehensive to watch it at first because
at first I thought it was a horror movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a horror because like the way they had been enticing it, the way like even Devin had talked about because of the way they had been advertising it, it was a horror movie.
It's a thriller movie. It's
a thriller, but it's also what they call a creature movie. That's what it is. It's a creature movie, but a good one. Not done in a comically way they usually do.
Yeah, it's not like a creature movie.
It's like a serious creature movie where they're actually like.
Yeah, it's also not like this. I guess the story is about the creatures.
Yeah, it's very much from the point of view of this family, but it is a creature movie.
I was also going to make the argument that in creature movies you usually see a lot more of the creature. You don't in creature movies.
Not usually till the end. At the end you see a lot.
Yeah, you are. It's a creature movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at the beginning of like all this advertising and marketing they were doing, it looked like an actual horror movie. But I was kind of excited to see it because it looked cool. Like, I'm glad I watched it because first off, I found out it wasn't a horror movie. It was a creature movie, which was awesome because I love creature movies. Because most of them are either awfully done to the point of funny or you have really good ones.
Yep. So
that one was really good.
That's not the one we're rating, but I feel like that was important for us to talk about A Quiet Place Part 2, which is what we're talking about today. Because we have now watched it twice. Just for you guys, we rewatched it so that we would have it fresh on the brain. But I think it is important because there's no reason to do this episode and rate the second movie and then go back in time at some point and rewatch the first one and give it a rating. So, based on that, 1 out of 5 stars, what did you give A Quiet Place?
Number 1?
The first one.
I would give that one a 4.
I also want to give it a 4.
Simply because I also hate the way the dad died. There are so many situations out of that.
Quick math. That gives the
grand total of
an average score of 4 from the other show. Boom. That's an official rating. Another one in the books, baby. All right.
2 ratings in one show. Are we about to do this?
Breaking barriers. We didn't give Cheesecake a rating, but I guess that's not really.
Yeah, we don't do it for every segment. We're just doing 2 in one segment.
Well, yeah, I know, but also like Cheesecake's kind of like a. You'd have to pick one cheesecake to give a rating. Anyway, we're doing a movie.
So we rewatched Quiet Place. We watched Quiet Place 2 shortly after it came out on, was it Amazon or something for rent or bought?
Yeah, it was for rent and it was movie on demand. I bought it.
Okay. Yeah. So he bought it shortly after it came out. We watched it. Both loved it. Both enjoyed it. But then we're like, you know what? We've been seeing like more advertisements, I guess, for it again. And I was like, you know what? We should rewatch that and then talk about that here because it was a good movie too. And there's a lot to talk, enough to talk about with it. Not a whole lot, but enough in that movie.
Yeah. So
because great directing, great producing. Again, they do a great job on that.
Yeah, John Krasinski and his wife, who played his wife. Emily Blunt, who played his wife, who is also his wife. Yeah. You know what we're talking about. Yeah, this isn't news.
We're not the groundbreaking news on this one.
No, not at all. Very far from it. Yeah, so dude dies, and this movie starts in this is spoilers, as always. This movie starts on day 1. Actually, it starts in the same scene that the first movie ended.
As soon as the movie 1 ends, number two picks up, but there is a flashback scene right at the beginning that kind of lets you know a little bit.
If you were to literally cut the credits,
I swear they'd match up.
They would. 100% they would.
They made that beautifully seamless.
It's almost like they just never stopped filming. They just kept going.
The kids definitely got older.
I mean, whatever. Shut up. There's a flashback, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
I would love to know more, but of course that would ruin everything about the creatures. So
yeah, if they dive too much into it,
it would ruin it.
Yeah. Even the diving in number 2, where they talk about the whole like, once we found out the creatures on day 1 can't swim, we all just piled in boats out. Like it already gave enough where it's like, how did that actually happen? On day 1, everyone just knew this, and somebody figured it out and told everyone before everyone else died. It was a whole thing.
Well, and I don't know for sure, but in the flashback, John Krasinski, his name was Lee. My God. Lee, not John Krasinski. Lee, who is played by John Krasinski in the movie A Quiet Place 2.
He is the dad in The Quiet Place
2. Yes, Lee, played by John Krasinski.
Yes.
Was in the store where the kid gets the stupid kid. Hate that kid.
Well, come on, the kid died.
I know, that's why I hate him. They killed the kid in the opening scene.
They held no punches in either of these. They held no punches on either of these.
Oh my
they were like, you know what? If this is going to happen, because in Quiet Place 2, they use a little girl on the dock. They didn't hold no punches. They're like, screw it. The little girls are now doing this too. All the little kids are also in it.
I'm glad that Cheesecake was short because this is going to go long anyway. Because we got 20 more minutes of this show and it's all going to be in. We're not cutting it early. We're going to go frame by frame. We're going to break down every scene of the movie. Just kidding. Anyway, so they're in the store where they get the stupid kid
That's
gets
like
the stupid
convenience
thing.
That you see them in number 1.
In the small town of somewhere in New York. It's in New York. I know that. I'm almost positive it's in New York.
I don't think they might have set a town on one of those maps somewhere.
Having the slightest
doesn't matter though.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Flashback starts with him walking into the store to go get oranges.
On the news, it looks like some shit's going down. So I'm wondering, the reason I'm bringing all this up, it sounds crazy, but the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I'm thinking that maybe the aliens or the creatures they're aliens.
They're alien creatures. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they might have gotten to a different continent, like maybe Europe, and it was on the news or something. So maybe they knew that. Maybe that could have explained how they might have had a little bit more time. I'm just trying to get
How to have traveled so fast?
Did you see the meteor that fell from the sky?
I don't know. A lot of people died real quick.
Also, that meteor, with just looking at how big it was on screen,
it would have killed everybody.
Well, that's
the impact alone.
That's besides the point. It looked like, because it was huge, right?
Yeah.
In order for it to be that size on the screen and also still to be that huge, it would have had to been very far away and within minutes, less than that. And I know that they move fast, but holy shit, one of those creatures got into town fast.
Yeah, there's some like flaws and loopholes, and it's like, how in the world did it just get there? I don't know though, because also wherever it crashed,
how many of these do you think there are?
Those things?
Yeah,
probably thousands. Because also, if this is happening, assumingly all over the world, I would assume. Yeah, otherwise, they would have gotten rescued in their little town where they're at.
It would. Yeah,
there's probably thousands, and then they don't talk about the like if they were reproducing where nests or whatever were. There's probably thousands
upon thousands. About reproduction.
Yeah. Like there's nests somewhere.
Because by the time that the movie, after we get out of the flashback, all right, so the flashback, the meteor hits, aliens come.
They're at a ball game.
The ball game, and aliens come, and they f it up, and the guy with the shotgun tries to shoot the alien, and the guy dies.
Yeah, they killed the police officer real quick in that one.
Not even, that dude didn't stand a flying chance.
He kept trying. Which also, another loophole. He shot him with a shotgun. They do that later on, and it hurts them. This one, that dude was shooting the first one, didn't even flinch.
Well, it doesn't hurt them. It only hurt them when their sound flaps were open.
You don't think his sound flaps was open trying to listen for this guy?
Not in the same way. They make a whole big deal about that in the first. Remember, there was even a note that John Krasinski wrote down in the first movie. It said weaknesses or something like that. Anyway, okay. I was about to make a point.
Anyways, that's a flashback, and then it goes back to day
after a
400 something that they were in.
Yeah, it's just over a year,
and that's where number one ends. Number two, like their story starts again. Yeah, basically, which is we need to get the hell out of our house and let's go up to this mountain. Which the deaf girl finds out. Oh, this fire got lit, so somebody's still up there. Let's go up there. And
I remember what I was going to say. The whole, really, in my opinion, the whole outside of just giving us a little bit of backstory, which I really do appreciate. Yeah. I love seeing how it happened, but not having too much to go off of. It still being very much a mystery. But really, the whole reason all that happened was so that you could see the relationship between Lee and Cillian Murphy. I don't remember his name in the movie, but that's the actor's name.
Yeah, it showed you where this other main guy that's about to be the main guy, how he ties into this family.
Also, love Cillian Murphy. Peaky Blinders was an awesome show. One of my all-time favorites.
Great job on acting in this one too. Yeah. Like he portrays that like dad who lost a child and his wife and has nothing left to lose. He's a great actor, but still cares enough about this family to help them.
He's a great actor. Love him. I never realized until way after I started watching Peaky Blinders that the first time I ever saw him was actually in Batman 2.
He was Scarecrow.
Yeah. Messed that whole thing up. Anyway, so they're traveling, and the baby, that was a whole dumb decision.
There's a whole. You can go into different topics about.
You gotta punch her in the stomach. You cannot.
Not that aggressive, but
you cannot be raising babies.
I don't understand, like how this. You know the world you're living in. I get y'all are trying to find a way out of it and try to figure out. I get that.
Like, they gotta still have sex. Like, there's no way. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not saying abstain or anything.
But the way that, like, why would you bring a child into the world where if it cries, it's dead?
It could have been an accident.
Literally, the baby cries, it's dead. And I'm like.
It almost certainly was an accident, though.
I mean, yeah. But still. I don't know. That whole thing. It's weird, but I guess the storyline, that's why the whole storyline worked the way it did. Yeah, obviously. That's the reason why it worked.
You wouldn't have had a movie without it. Not really. The first one you could have made without it, but...
Not really, because the first one ended when her giving labor. That was the whole trigger at the end right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. I wrote down notes. Because I caught two things.
Well, let's go through the rest of the movie real quick.
Because I caught two things I have questions for. There's no answer.
Let's get through the movie real quick. All right, so they go, and they're going up to where you said the deaf girl, the daughter.
The older daughter. Mm-hmm.
The only daughter.
Yeah.
Is the baby a girl?
I don't know. I don't think they ever gave it a name either.
It doesn't know its gender
baby.
yet.
It's baby.
Baby driver.
Anyways, deaf girl's up. She takes her dad's old notes and stuff. Lit a fire on top of. She lit a fire on top of their silo to be like, hey.
That's another good movie. We should do that one next.
It's a signal for where like everyone around them, I guess, were lighting fires as they were alive.
Well, it wasn't
hey, we're
her.
here.
It was Lee.
Yeah, but she took his old thing and she went up there. She lit a fire.
Because that's the whole
crossed
dynamic.
out like a whole bunch of
That's
them.
the whole dynamic. Is she's supposed to be witty and smart like her dad, and the son is a coward and a boy.
Something like that, I guess.
Anyway, keep going.
But that's the whole supposed to be.
Listen, this is fresh on my flipping brain.
I could tell. But anyway, she finds out up on this hill, there's a light up there, so they go for it.
Yep.
Ends up being on a, like this, what looks like a train station or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They find Peaky Blinders guy.
Peaky Blinders.
I can't remember what his name is in the movie.
Cillian Murphy.
That's it. I don't remember what his name was in the movie.
It was Peaky Blinders, guys.
But they find him there. He rescues them from one of the alien creatures, which I don't remember if they even gave it a name either.
Shelby.
No. I almost called the creature Shelby. I was like, that's not right.
Hello?
I don't think they gave the creature's name either. Anyways,
No, not at all.
they rescued him from that because they snagged something on the way in, which triggered stuff. And then little short, the son decided
The
to put
dumb
his...
boy decided to put his... Oh my God, I forgot. We got to censor this. I'm so sorry.
Because the little boy put his foot in a bear trap.
Yeah, well, you started to say he decided to put his foot in a bear trap.
He decided to put his foot in a bear trap on purpose. And he screams, so obviously the creature's coming. So he saves them.
I'll give him this.
He
It took
watches
him a
them rescue each other, and then he saves them, yada, yada.
And just like a classic child, he waited. What? He waited until he looked.
Yeah, he did wait till he looked at it, which was interesting.
Start screaming. He's a child. Anyway.
It was interesting. I don't know. That part, that whole scene was weird. But anyways, eventually Peaky Blinders saves them, puts them down the cellar, and what looks to be like, not an old furnace, but an old something, where he used to put his, some kind of vault.
It looks like a vault.
But he brought it, that's where he used to bring his wife who had cancer during all this and would like, be in pain. He'd put her in there so she could scream for however long the stopwatch would go for.
So you would run out of air.
Yeah, which I'm assuming was like 20 seconds or something like that. But then he had to open the door. But he put him in there until the creatures went away.
It was way more than that. Remember, well, later in the movie, but...
I don't know how long it was. It was long enough. Anyways, he puts him in there.
Anywhere from 20 seconds, apparently, to like 10 minutes.
I don't know. Yeah, it entirely just depends on what the situation is.
Because that kid fell asleep.
Which kid?
The bad word boy.
He fell asleep. What do you mean?
Yeah, he fell asleep when he locked himself in the... Because he's dumb.
He passed out from lack of oxygen.
That's what I'm saying. So, but he was there for a while. Mama had to come save him.
He wasn't there for that long. That whole scene was weird, too. Because between the scene they were doing her fighting the dude up top, or the creature up top, him being locked in there with baby losing oxygen.
Yeah.
And then also the two of the Peaky Blinders guy and an older girl who had already run away and dealt with other stuff were fighting at a dock. All this was happening at the same time. And like the time frame of all this was ridiculous. Because then by the time Peaky Blinders, dude, and I can't remember the older girl's name. By the time they got to the island where they were finally found, they were saved. There's other people.
The mom or the only daughter?
The daughter. Once they,
the older girl. There is no other girl.
I keep saying it. I'm sorry.
You're just confusing me.
She left to go find help because she heard the song on the radio. They're on this island, is what she found out. So she went to go do that. They were finding a boat on a dock to go. By the time they get to this island, they tell the people it's been 2 days
the
journey.
Train scene.
I said after they've been doing all that stuff. But they make it there, and they told them it took them 2 days. What is that mom and little dude were only fighting for like what would have been like a 5-minute time span? What in the world would these other 2 days spent for either of them doing? Obviously, the two of them were walking to this island. What were these other guys doing for 2 days?
No. That's probably including. Well, it wasn't that
2
far.
days.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, there was in between it being nighttime when they escaped, when Cillian Murphy had the ear thingy in his mouth. It was daytime by the time that they got to the island. So I was thinking that could have been a whole day, but it wasn't because you see the island in the movie and it's not that far. It's not a day's worth. It might have been a few hours because they didn't have a motor, obviously, in the boat.
Yeah, well, in the boat, it's nighttime, and then when they get to the island, peeking around all the houses,
daytime.
it's still nighttime.
Oh, you're right. It is still nighttime.
Yeah.
The hell?
That's what I'm saying. It takes them a long time, which, okay, it might have taken you 2 days. What was the mom doing 2 days trek, getting the oxygen, coming back, and dude
seem like it's on that side. Yeah, on their side, the people go into the kid, the daughter, and Shelby from Cecilia Murphy goes to the island, and that's supposed to be 2 days.
Yes.
No.
He said it took a 2 days journey to get there.
But it was nighttime when she ran away.
No, it was in the middle of the night. He did not leave until that morning. And he was the one saying it took 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Night one was spent in that place at the train.
Yeah.
That was day one at the train. And then from the train all the way through the day and through the night to get back to the other place. I'm just saying.
But by the time that they got to the docks, it was night 2.
Yes.
And that's when all the other stuff happens.
Yes.
So
were they just chilling in there for a day?
They didn't really show any of that stuff.
Yeah, they just kind of cut all of that. They were just chilling in this bunker area type thing.
And then she puts the ring on the cross
to signify she's letting her husband go, she let her
That's a bunch of
baby boy
nonsense. Bull malarkey.
It was a whole bunch of things. No, okay.
Stupid kid with the stupid NASA thing. It makes me so mad because I feel so bad. Like I get so much like almost empath like level
about
of feeling anytime, especially a little boy, because it just sucks.
I hate it simply because in general you would have thought anybody, mom, dad, sister, brother, any of them, even if you gave the kid the toy, why did the batteries leave the store at all?
Well, they didn't give him the toy. The
older sister.
But she doesn't understand. She doesn't get sound. She doesn't understand.
She would have understood batteries. Because that would have been a big thing going around the house. You're right. Day one, mom and dad would have been pulling out every battery ever.
You're 100% right. It was the deaf B words.
No, I'm not saying it's her fault. I just don't understand. Again, I think that's a loophole that wasn't thought about.
I'm all on board on that.
Everyone would have known to always take batteries out of stuff in general. You would never have kept batteries in anything.
You know what scene I kept thinking about? I know we're getting off track again.
I still have one a topic I really want to talk about.
We're getting there. We're at the island. That's where we are in discussing the movie. We're at the island. They just got to the island. Anyway, you know what scene I kept thinking about though? It was actually from this first movie. Remember when when Lee and old P word boy left the water fountain, the waterfall, after they were screaming because I guess that was like a big moment for them. They
could talk and scream.
Who cares? It was dumb. Whatever.
It was dad trying to just
sentimental.
Show. That's what they were trying to do.
Remember the old man who like had the wife that died and they were in the forest and he screamed?
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Whoa, see, you do it too, punk.
That was terrifying because out of nowhere this thing just comes out. I'm like,
listen, I've been recording literally all day. All right. Wolf Takes a Bite is not a censored show. Thoughts from the Mothership, which we did 2 episodes for, is not a censored show. I'm still very much I went to the bathroom and came back and we were recording. All right. I have not had any kind of transitional period. Anyway, so we're at the island.
And then
this is gonna be a good one. I can't wait to listen to this.
I don't remember what dude's name was, but basically he's like the chief guy on the island, or whoever's talking to him. It's like the chief guy on the island.
Yeah, where was he from? I gotta look it up.
He did look familiar. I don't know.
But anyways, from something I know. This is not my phone.
He was telling them like about the story of how they got there. Like that's where they come to the whole thing. Like once we found out they couldn't swim, Coast Guard had 12 boats docked up and everything.
That's a bunch of bull malarkey.
And my question is all right, how do we find out that they can't swim that fast enough to get the Coast Guard to get 12 boats there that fast? Because that would have had to been within a couple of hours.
And while all these people are being quiet and didn't start screaming until they found out there wasn't enough boats. Yeah. No, I agree with what you're saying.
It would have been one of the things we'd probably have to see it. But also, if we saw it, it would lose the magic of, like, this is how they got there. Because otherwise, there's plenty of other ways to figure that out. I don't know. That whole thing was a little weird, but it kind of made, at least it kind of gives an idea.
I've been saying Cecilian Murphy wrong the whole time. I think it's Cillian Murphy.
I don't know what his name was in the movie.
It was Emmett.
Emmett. Okay. That's his name.
Anyway, okay. But yeah, so I sound dumb through that whole thing. His name is Man on the Island is the character he played.
Okay, so they never gave him a name. Okay, that's there's also a lot of people in that movie, and both of them, that they don't name.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Blood Diamonds is the movie I was thinking of. I know you didn't see that with me, but
is that what he was
also in Guardians of the Galaxy? Apparently,
was he? Didn't know that.
Sure was.
All right, so I wrote down my questions here.
Hold on,
because these are things that I thought about.
Hold on,
Well, it goes into this because while they're on the island.
Okay, well, let's finish explaining how the movie went for the people listening because it's obvious. Like it's so easy to track where we are in the movie and what's happened so far.
They're on the island. Man on the island. We just found out. Told him like about how everything happened. All right, cool. Now Emmett, we found out. Emmett is now feeling sad, so he goes.
Cillian Murphy.
He goes to sit by
Sicily. I'm so dumb.
He goes to sit beside Deaf Girl and starts apologizing and all this stuff. At the beginning, he looks at her. Then he looks straight and finishes
So you didn't do what I wanted to do, which was finish the movie. You just wanted to go right to it.
Well, this is the next scene in the movie. That's what I want to say.
But this is such a small part in the movie, like in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, keep going. Talk about your gripe.
Because this gripe is the fact that she's deaf.
Yeah.
And then in these scenes, throw a loophole as if she would have heard this. As he starts talking to apologizing, say, hey, you're right, whatever. And he's looking straight through this. And throughout the rest of the movie, she's like, no, you got to look at me because he's not signing.
It's one scene. One scene she said
no,
this.
Because then she also later says that, hey, you said all this, or earlier in the movie, you said this is about your wife. That was down in a bunker with her mom between her and him, and she was not looking at her.
Does this break the movie that much for you?
It hurts me because if she's deaf, she could not have heard or known about any of this. And I'm actually pretty sure that actress is deaf. I think they did that on purpose.
Now I gotta Google that.
I'm pretty sure she actually, I think they did that on purpose. They wanted her to be deaf, and then all of the cast and stuff had to actually learn it. Which, good for them on that. This scene.
Her name was Reagan, by the way.
Reagan? Okay, that's what it is.
And the son's name was Marcus.
Yeah. I'm great with names, guys.
She is a deaf actress.
Yeah, right. That's what I said. They got a deaf actress on purpose and made everyone learn it.
That makes it so much better.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. But the whole...
Well, yeah, but I didn't know that not only did John Krasinski play the husband of Emily Blunt in the movie, and were also actually married, but the girl was actually deaf. That was a whole flippin' thing. I wonder if they got a real baby.
Yeah.
Well, they can't. There's weird...
They definitely got a real baby for at least for a couple of those things.
There's a weird California law about that kind of stuff. But that's why you always see babies. They're like 9-month-old babies, and they're supposed to be newborn.
Yeah. Yeah, the baby was
there's weird laws about that stuff.
Either way,
maybe it was
there was a wrong script in that they should have made it where he was looking at her both times.
They probably thought that the majority of people.
She talked a lot more than she did in number one, and I don't know if that was accidental or on purpose.
Probably on purpose
because there's a lot more times they're signing. A lot more times they're signing and they're actually whispering it, and I understand that does happen. Yeah. But in number one, it didn't happen. And number two, all of a sudden, everyone's now whispering as they're signing stuff, and that was kind of upsetting. Simply on the fact that they didn't do it in number one.
Whatever. Anyway,
at least not as much.
One of the creatures accidentally ended up on a boat, and the boat drifted to the island, much in the same way that Emmett and Reagan ended up on the island. See, we know what we're talking about, and Emmett wandered away down to somewhere because I guess beach to he was meditate, freaking out about something. I don't know. I don't remember. I think he was reminiscing, and he was
mad that he was wrong and didn't go looking earlier.
Because some of the subject matter, it just really kind of hits me in my empath, and I'm not a empath by any means, but sometimes I can get there, and sometimes movies specifically hit me in a specific way, and I feel stuff about I hate it. I hate talking about this. Why am I even saying it anyway? So he's down at the beach, and they think he's reminiscing about I can't believe I didn't try harder, and if I had just figured this out, this deaf girl Reagan over here figured out, then maybe my kid would still be alive. Anyway.
No, his kid would still be dead, but his wife would be alive.
How? She had cancer. That had nothing to do with
the idea of having a village might have helped him. I don't know. Because his kid died in day one is what he was saying. He died first day.
That man is living with regret. You can't tell me he doesn't.
Yeah.
He isn't.
Because he also didn't go help his friend and family
that
he knew were down there because he was way too scared. And that's what he was upset about. He was very upset that he got so scared to not help the people that he cared about.
Yeah, he sucks. Anyway.
That's why he was down there. And then he heard this clanking of like metal, and he's like, "What is this?"
Oh,
Goes over here, sees the boat that he saw the creature on because they'd scratched it up, and he's like,
"Yeah, he kills some dude,"
and then runs up the mountain. Everybody get inside!
Yeah. And then the monster's
that's not gonna help.
The monster's murking mother effers everywhere.
Yeah, he did that. The monster, which is hilarious. Every time these monsters run into town or anywhere, just boom, bowling through like nothing's gonna stop them.
They don't care. Nothing will.
Which is another question I have about these creatures. They're just coming in, swinging arms, killing. That's all they do. Like, are they trying to eat people?
I have
or are
no
they
idea.
just? Are they just like a leopard or something that just likes to kill for fun? Is that what they're just like?
But I think if we knew, like, that would kind of ruin some of the.
That's where like I want more information, but I also don't want to know.
How scary would it be to figure out that it's not even because they're hungry? They're just murking people to murk them.
Yeah. They just hear sound. They're like, screw it.
I think I have a theory, and I think it's because they really just cannot stand specific sounds,
or they just don't like sound in general. So
so they just. But that doesn't make any sense because do you know how loud it would have been crashing into Earth on that?
Maybe that's why they're all mad. It's generational anger.
They were
trickled
actually
down.
Turns out actually they were traveling to Earth because they were like, "Yo, look at these guys. These guys are pretty cool. Like, let's go say hi." And then they're crashing into and then murking everyone.
Like, stop!
Yelling. I gotta kill John Krasinski.
Like, all these guys keep yelling. Tell them to stop.
I like how you do it like a quiet yell. It's we can yell. It's fine. Everything's okay. No one's here.
But yeah, anyways, he bowls into town. They jump in a car. He literally kind of bowls into town.
Imagine that thing coming at you full clip. Could you imagine?
For a split second. And then that's probably all
That's all you had.
But yeah, then they jump into a car, which again, also, where'd the car come from? Who put that on the boat?
I'm trying to figure out how they
Who took the time to put that on the boat?
What?
The car.
That island might have been already set. There was already houses and stuff. You think they built all that in a year? That place was already
probably
established.
There was no roads.
Yeah, there was. There was dirt roads.
There was a dirt road.
Come on, man.
You don't think that
people build stuff on islands? Go to Michigan.
I don't think that island. I don't know.
It was off the coast of
where'd that car come from? I think somebody took the time to put that on the boat. And that was the issue. That's what took so long.
That's why all this.
That's why only 2 boats got out that day.
But anyway, they're going to the radio station where they hear the song playing.
Because they want to take her earpiece and put it to the microphone, goes bzzz to everybody.
And then the alien goes bzzz, and then the shotgun goes.
That's exactly how that works.
And then the movie ended. Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good movie.
Except for the other part of the ending is also. We were talking.
Why are you so upset about this movie?
No, this is another thing that's kind of funny. Is we talk about the dock scene is happening while Emily Blunt's fighting with her kid both kids downstairs, like trying not to die either. They're doing that.
I told you it's hard.
Sorry, they're doing that. These other guys went to an island at night, sneaking around the houses. It was night. By the time he's standing on the beach, staring away, it's daytime.
At night.
They're getting attacked in the radio tower. Still, it's daytime. It's become very much daytime. Yeah. They're still being attacked in the bunker.
No.
Yes.
No. It stops attacking them for a little bit. Remember?
For a very small amount of time.
Well, we don't know how long.
They went through all that oxygen, and there's no way those tanks last for very long amongst 3 people. Just saying.
Look, we don't know how long.
I'll have to look that fact up. But there's no way an oxygen tank takes that one because they only had 1 oxygen tank. And you see it.
No, they had 2.
And she opens the door because.
She blew up one.
Yeah, she had to blow up one.
Yeah, she blew up one.
Because, then she opens it because she realizes that oxygen tank is about to run out. The whole door is closed. We got to open this up so we can breathe again. Then Creature comes out and starts attacking them again.
He's being all creepy with his big old arms and his elbows that go out 6 feet from his...
he did that on purpose. He was just trying to show off.
He was being creepy. He's being a creeper.
Also, the ending was weird. Like, I get it. Because I think
Why
the ending...
was it weird?
Because I think the ending was supposed to be the kids are conquering their fears. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
I think it's...
But it was like kind of weird. It was so slowly cringe how slow they were going to attack this thing. Just kill it. It's trying to kill you.
This is how movies are, though. This is every movie.
Something about it. It was just like, it was so slow. And then at the very end scene, you just see Emily Blunt like holding the baby, just like shocked her child just shot this creature. I'm like, you should be happy. You should be a lot more happy than what you are right now.
I think, I think 2 things. Number 1, I agree with you. I'm mad at you that you're upset about it because every movie does do this, but also I agree with you. There was something weird about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Just slightly over dramatized. I don't know.
I don't know. I loved it, but it doesn't matter. But I hope that they're going to do a third movie, and what I'm hoping is that they murder Emily Blunt, and the kids are taking over, and so that's why they're setting it up.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah,
I guess maybe it could be the end of A Quiet Place. Like, show us how to, like, I wouldn't mind, like, I don't want a lot more flashbacks. I think you are right. The mystery of not quite knowing.
I want some.
You want some, but not a lot. Because, again, if they do give too much, it loses the magic of it. And you kind of like.
It's not magic. This is terrifying.
You lose the terrifying factor.
Imagine one of those things coming at you full clip.
But yeah, I would, if they do a number 3, I hope it's watching them rebuild from what they found, finding other people, and everybody just starting to figure out how to just take over again. Maybe. And that makes sense.
I don't know. I hope they make
That'd be my hope.
Okay. So, Quiet Place 1 got an average The Other Show score of 4.
4.
A Quiet Place Part 2. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a 4.1.
I'm giving it a 3.8, which gives it an average score of
3.59.
No,
I think it's
no,
9.5.
but we should probably like get into the habit of figuring this out for the audio listeners, because only the video people know the average score.
It gives it about a 4 score. Anyway,
I think it's like it might be a 4. It might be an even 4.
It's like,
wait, what'd you give it?
4.1. But I can
thought
not.
You said 4.2.
I said 4.1.
Okay, if it's a 4.1 and I give it a
3.8.
Oh no, it's not.
That turns like 3.95.
Yeah. Someone out there.
It's basically a 4.
You know what? Probably everyone who's listening, who's much better at math than us, has already figured out what the average is. You're welcome. And anybody who's watching, it popped up on screen for you. You're welcome. So, yeah, overall, I think it was a great movie. The series combined, I think, is awesome. And I really do hope they make a third one.
Fantastic. Especially for the first one, because Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. I think they directed and produced it.
At this point, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea.
I think they wrote it, produced it, and directed it. I think they did all that together.
I think so too.
At least for number 1, I know they did like everything. I think number 2, because of the success of it, they brought in a couple of other people.
How dope is it to go from?
Really impressed.
How dope is it to go from Jim from The Office?
He did other stuff too, Devin.
I know. I'm about to list some of his other references. Calm down. But that's really where he got his start, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am, but that's where most people know him from. I'm an average person. I'm an average consumer. I have no idea anything about Emily Blunt. Too. Okay, hold on. Let me talk about John Krasinski, because I don't know about Emily Blunt. Let me be blunt. I know nothing. Anyway, he went from being a regular old Jim, and then he got like kind of cut and built up, and he grew a beard, and then he played Tom Clancy for Amazon Prime, which was awesome.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
It was freaking awesome. I never got past like the 4th episode, but it was awesome. And then go from that to directing. You go from putting a calculator into Jell-O to directing a creature film. And
that was very good.
It was really good. Yeah. It was freaking.
Especially really again good. For the first one, like it's not like they do this a lot. Like this was like their debut one.
No, not at all.
Number 1 was fantastic. Number 2 was fantastic.
Not one bit.
I liked it.
That's great.
Very happy with it.
All right, well. That's
the other show's hot takes, thoughts on it. I don't know how you guys want to say that. Either way, we hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys go watch that. If you have not seen either of those movies, again, it's not a horror movie. It's like a creature movie. It is really good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I hate horror stuff. And I still say go watch it. It's really
not
good.
A horror.
I know, but again, I don't do horror well. I don't do scares well, but there's not that many in there, and it's really good.
It's not scary.
As long as you're cool with creatures. They're good.
Creatures. Anyway, guys, drink your water. Like and subscribe. If you're listening to this on a podcast, thanks.
Still drink your water.
Also, yeah, drink your water. But also, if you could do the 5 stars and comments and stuff, we're still a very new show. This show, anyway. So we'd like some feedback.
We would love to hear feedback and your thoughts on the other show, the Quiet Place.
Also, yeah, tell us what you thought about the creatures, because I'm telling you that one scene where he's crawling out that pipe.
Yeah,
he's being creepy.
He's doing it on purpose. I'm telling you. Yeah. Did it on purpose.
Thanks, guys.
Just for the camera. Bye. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to that episode, you can find more. Just go to graymanmediaco.com and you find all things The Other Show.